think that I fall in love way too easily. And I don't mean in some grand cinematic way. I mean in the type of way where my mind starts building an image of somebody that doesn't exist. And in my mind, that's how I'm hoping that person will be. And I start planning a future with that person, even though all we had was a simple talk. But with this girl, everything felt different. Remember, I remember everything. I remember the way she looked at me. I remember the way she flipped her hair and she looked at me in the eyes when we had a conversation. I remember the little details that she told me, what she likes, what she doesn't like. I remembered every bit and piece she told me. And I created a fake image of what I thought she was. And I loved every second of being with her. We went out, went on dates. Everything was amazing. We held hands, we walked around just like a couple would. And before I knew it, I had an entire story written in my head already about our relationship and what we were doing. And if you've ever seen the movie, it reminded me of 500 Days of Summer, which is funny because we actually watched that movie together. And it made me realize that that's what me and her were kind of doing in a way. It's kind of like every little moment that I had with her gets replayed through my mind, and I analyze it like I'm trying to connect the dots, and it was her dropping hints, or it was her trying to lead our current relationship somewhere. And I realized I messed up. I was looking too deep into things. I was trying to connect the dots that weren't even there. And I turned that, oh, she's just being nice. I turned that into, in a sense, a false sense of hope and, in a way, love. The only difference is, she made a move on me. Yes, she did. I didn't make the first move, she did. And that made me think, okay, this is going to lead somewhere. I love this. I'm happy. I'm right where I want to be. But that's how the movie starts. Everything goes amazing until it doesn't. Yeah, I get attached really easily to people, especially girls who show me attention. I fall in love really easily. And turning small moments into meaning is something I tend to do a lot. Whether it be a simple hug or a simple hi, not even a simple look at me. My mind goes instantly to, or do they like me? Do they like what they see? And that's something that's kind of lingered with me. And I turn my expectations into something that feels way too real. And it's crazy because it's something that feels real to me, but it doesn't really even exist. And I get attached, not to who they actually are, but who I think they would be in a relationship with me. I cannot find this dark oak wood. And it just changes my whole perspective on them to the version that I have of them in my head. And as quickly as I do, just like the main character in 500 Days of Summer, I romanticize everything. The late night conversations, the calls, sleeping on call, talking to her all the time, her telling me about her day, her telling me what she's doing. I romanticized it all. Was I in the wrong? I don't know. I was just kind of going with the flow, but I agree that I kind of looked into it too much. After all, in the beginning, she did say she just wanted something casual. She didn't want a relationship. But as time went on, we started being more coupley and doing things. that couples normally do, whether it be go on dates or walk around holding hands, showing affection in public, etc. And I would get mixed feelings from her. Sometimes it would seem like she wants me and only me, but other times it seemed like she just wanted to be casual. And in reality, it was just she wanted to be casual. And okay. I ignored the reality that was in front of me for this false sense of an image I had of her. And the reason is because I liked what I had in my mind over what the reality was, which is something that happens normally. I like the idea that I could have turned it into something more. I could have been something real, something lasting. But in reality, there's not a script that's like that. You don't just write somebody's life. That's where I messed up. I try to write myself into her life, and I try to be part of her life every single day. I don't know why that was so loud, but anyways, I ended up just messing up. In conclusion, I messed up. And I'm just, they're living in the moment while I'm living in La La Land, having the best time of my life with whatever's going on. But in reality, there's nothing going on. And I'm attached to everything, every word she says, every action she does, everything she's ever done. It sticks to me like glue. And that's where falling in love easily is a problem. Because I fell in love with a false sense of hope that she was giving me and I was giving myself. And I knew what I was getting myself into, but I tried to look past it and push for that something more that I wanted. And eventually it started to hurt. And I started overthinking everything. The late messages, or the leaving me undelivered, leaving me unread, being active on Instagram while not texting me back for hours. I started thinking about everything, and it was slowly hurting me. I'm gonna crash out. I just did a loop. And I was just creating a false sense of reality for myself when I should have just been straight up and tell myself that, hey, this is what's going on. I can't be doing this. And we got close really quick within a month. And I kind of just filled in the blanks. And in my mind, we knew each other for years. I knew everything about her. She knew everything about me. And I just skipped ahead. I believed in something that wasn't fully real yet. And then when it didn't turn out how my mind thought of it, I went into a shutdown. I started overthinking stuff that I shouldn't have been overthinking, stuff that I had no control over, stuff that you do in a relationship. And we weren't in a relationship, so whatever it was shouldn't have mattered when it did. I imagined it feels like something was taken from me, And even though it was never really mine, like she was never really mine, I kept leading into my false realities, thinking that she is mine and she needs to tell me what she's doing, like we're in a relationship. But, we weren't. And the worst part is I still find myself doing it again, chasing that feeling, that same hope, that same what if this time it's different? Because there's something, I guess, addictive in a way about it, about the possibility that me and her could be something, and that I could be in a happy, loving relationship with somebody who I got along with really well. And maybe one day the version in my head and the real person will finally match up. But maybe it's not my time. Maybe I need to go out and meet more people, go out with my friends more. And I need to just learn to slow down or shut myself off a little bit and not let myself get a fake idea of what's going through my head. Get to a point where it's eating me, it's hurting me, and I cry over it when I shouldn't have cried over it. Had an anxiety attack over it, a panic attack when I shouldn't have had that. Because in reality, she was never mine. And we were just friends who did a little bit more. And maybe this lesson isn't to stop myself or thinking about that stuff, but to just let it happen and try not to assume what's going to be happening. And I guess I need to learn to stop chasing the feeling that I'm looking for. The feeling of being happy. I think, or I've now realized that it comes from your own self. You can't be happy in a relationship if you aren't happy with yourself. And that's something that I really need to take into account. Not every connection I have is a love story. And it may seem like I do that a lot, because I do. I really do. But maybe sometimes I just gotta dial it back and realize that there's friends and then there's lovers. And I can't just assume that everybody's gonna be a lover. I have to know that sometimes it's just a friend or someone who cares about me. And I need to learn to control my thoughts and my emotions. And I can't sleep yet. I don't know why. I thought it was nighttime already. And not every moment is necessarily a sign of like something deeper. And not everything is meant to be something more than what it is. And just two paths crossing isn't a sign that, oh, that's my soulmate, that's somebody I need to be with. No. Sometimes it's a moment that is there in the moment, and it's literally just a moment. Nothing more, nothing less. And just something that I need to deal with. Not even something I need to deal with, just something that happens. And maybe the real growth that I need is just learning how to accept it without trying to turn into something it wasn't meant to be, which is what I do a lot of the time. I try to imagine everything is going to lead into that relationship that I yearn for. And I'm never going to find a relationship where it's exactly how I want it to be. I need to make adjustments to whatever's going on. And I just need to slow down in life, admire the nice things, enjoy myself, enjoy life. Find things that I love to do, and just learn to be happy with the person that I am, and to not think crazy about it. And maybe this whole situation with this girl was just a life lesson that was given to me by the universe, showing me all my flaws, everything I need to work on before I actually get into a committed, loving relationship with somebody, because I wouldn't want to mess that up. And it's just something that, I don't know, it's just me or if other people have gone through it, but I feel like it's a very much a me problem that I have. And The reason I connected 500 Days of Summer with it is because my what happened with this girl is basically the plot point of 500 Days of Summer. Except in that movie, she gets married at the end, and I haven't even known her for 500 days, so I don't know. But yeah. Moral of the story: I fall in love too easily.